Hello and welcome to Blue Dragon Actuarial. It has this week I was not able to post any video because I was kind of busy. I was also moving around here and there, and there was a long weekend, so I was not in home most of the time. And I thought that there is not a single week that I have not posted a video without informing. So why not create a small video? And this is a topic which has been kind of more or less discussed by me, but till even yesterday I got some question with from some freshers saying that whether actually is for them or not, right? And usually people are confused about that, and that's why I thought that let me make a short video on if actually is for you or not for you, right? And this is important for anyone who is having any doubts about actually, or a fresher who is kind of willing to start about actually, or looking to kind of start in actually, right? So without any wastage of time, and let's keep this video very short because I'm releasing this video on, maybe I'll be releasing this video on Wednesday. So maybe on Saturday, the other video or for this week video will also come, right? So moving on, who can't be an actuary? That is the first, I'll give you a set of people who can't be an actuary and why that set or that mindset of people cannot be an actuary. Actuary or eventually any other thing in this world is eventually a game of mindset. It's just that if you have the right mindset, you can be an actuary. If you do not have the right mindset, you cannot be an actuary. And that goes for anything, right? Whether you want to be a cricket player, whether you want to be a data scientist, whether you want to be the president of a country, it depends on your mindset. If you can visualize yourself being there, doing that thing, you can do that and you will go around the hurdles. But if you do not have that mindset, you will get stuck at the hurdle and you will give up eventually. So first of all, people who are looking to get job quickly, usually this is the question that I get from most of the freshers, that if they can get a job quickly, or how quickly they can get a job, maybe after one paper, what would be the salary? If these are the questions that you are thinking, then unfortunately actually is not for you. And eventually any financial certification, for example, if you're also looking to do CFA or you are looking to FRM, this actually on its own can give you a job, but these certifications like CFA, FRM on its own they cannot probably give you a job, right? Because you need to do an MBA or a charter accountancy, something like that, right? But actually on its own can give you a job, right? But other financial certification even can't achieve that. So if you are looking for a job in actuary, and if you are doing actuary so that you can quickly get a job, and you have heard somewhere that you will get high paying job in actuary, then that's a wrong thought process that you have. Eventually, for in order to become an actuary, you need to clear 13 papers now, and only then you can call yourself an actuary. That is by the the logic that institute has defined, and only then you can have the salary and everything, right? But when you are just starting, when you are one or two paper old, then you are not going to get the package that you have heard of, or that is kind of popularized by the coaching center, right? They are just looking to get money from your side, and this is not the place for. Probably if you want to get a job quickly, MBA is much better alternative. You write CAT or ZAD, right? And then get admission into a good quality MBA college. And after 2 years, you are going to get a job. No matter what salary you get, whether you get 8 lakhs, whether you get 6 lakhs, that will still probably be higher than the initial salary that you'll be getting in actually. But the problem there is you MBA is a full-fledged complete course, but actually you are getting your job or internship after 2 or 3 papers. So there is it's not an apple to apple comparison, right? So that's why you have to be smart about that. If you are doing actually, you need to be passionate about that. Otherwise, it's not for you. So it take at least 2 to 3 papers to get an internship, and permanent jobs may take more time. I have interviewed people who have given who have kind of undertaken 3 internship before they got a permanent job. So it is not easy because at the fresher level there is too much of kind of clutter, right? And because freshers kind of focus mainly on papers, right? And as I kept on mentioning multiple times, if you are a viewer of this channel, you know that papers are just the basics, and in job or in practical work, papers would not help you that much. So if you are only focused on papers without knowledge, right, and there is a lot of clutter there. There are many people who have cleared 2 or 3 papers or maybe 5 papers, and you are not going to get the job there, right? Or you're not going to get an internship there. So if you are looking for quick job, you are not actually is not the field for you. So be prepared about that, right? So this sort of people with that sort of mindset are not fit for actually. Moving on, people who are weak in maths, of course, actually, and especially the initial papers requires a lot of maths, and that require double integration, integration, differentiation, calculus, stochastic calculus as well, which limit all those mathematical concept. And if you are weak in maths, then it will be a struggle for you because actually is a combination of mathematics, statistics, and economics. However, weakness in math is not an issue if you are willing to work on it. Now, I see people who say they are weak in maths and they are not willing to work on their weakness. If you are not willing to work on that weakness, there is no way you are going to go ahead in actually, because actually is a field that will test you in maths, not only in papers, but also in the softwares that will be running, also in the the communication that you will be having with your seniors or your juniors. So actually require maths and you need to be good in maths. And if you are currently weak in maths, that does not matter if you are willing to work on it. But if you are not willing to work on it, then actually it's not for you. Once again, moving on, the genius who think actually is clearing papers, and I've seen many people. Usually, the line of question that I get from freshers is how many paper should I clear to get a job, right? And there is no right answer for that. You might take 13 papers to get a job, like completely cover actually, and then you get a job. You might also get a job after 2 papers or 3 papers. It depends on what level of knowledge you are retaining from that paper. Usually, the people that I have seen, and I think for the last 2 years, I have not met a person who has very good knowledge about actually. If I just compare them with myself when I was starting actually, and by the way, I did MP and then I started actually. I was working in a full time job at that point of time. So I was already 25 years old when I started actually. And by the time I was around 26, 27, I got my first job. And at that, if I compare my level myself or my level at that point of time with the today's generation, I was far ahead of the current generation. And in fact, there is no comparison. I have not seen a person in the last 2 years when I was working in Sun Life as well who was at that level. I was honestly, I mean, look out for that sort of person, but I've not seen. Right, the last person I've seen, her name is Ritika, and I'm not going to give her surname. And I thought that she's very good, but other than that, I think there is no one that I felt who is good with concept. And most people have scored much higher marks than I have scored. Or at my time, there was no marks, right? But they are not good with the concepts. So the genius who think actually is just about clearing papers. They are up for a rude shock, especially later on, and they are not going to be an actuary. And I've seen many people who struggled with their career because they have only cleared papers, and that is the term that I've coined, paper actuary. Right? So these are the people who have just cleared papers and they are not fit for the industry. So if you think actually it's just about clearing papers and you clear 2 or 3 papers or 6 or 7 papers, you'll get a job. That's completely incorrect. So that's why when you ask this question, how many papers I need to clear to get a job, that is an incomplete question. That is an incorrect question. You need to do several other things with papers. And as I mentioned, any financial certification, CFA, FRF, any financial certification is outdated and incomplete because the practical work is much more complex, right? And that's why actually is also in the same boat. Actually, still much more kind of stronger than these certifications, right? But if you compare the concepts that you learn in paper with the real work, then also it is an outdated course. So you need to get into job to get the real flavor of actually. And in order to get in job, you need something more than papers, right? You need to see and you need to understand the situation, at least think about that situation, right? If you are just willing to write what is kind of written in the paper, or willing to say what is kind of written in the paper, everybody knows that. So then that is not what is going to differentiate you from your peers, and you are not going to get a job no matter how many papers you have cleared, right? Until unless it's a very kind of very average profile. So until unless that is the case, you're not going to get a job. So that's why the genius who think actually is just about clearing papers are never going to do well in actual. So that for them actually is not the relevant field. Moving on. not clear about the reason of doing actuary. And this is something that I've seen recently, and especially before COVID, I have seen people who had that clarity, like why they are doing actually, and even some people might also be doing actually just to get to higher package or something, but they have that clarity. But these days, I ask people why you are doing actually. They say I love math and stat, and then when I go deeper into that, it is quite clear that they not love maths and stat. They love money, but they are not clear themselves. Right? Probably that thought process come from their parents because the parents always think that the more my children earn money, the better it is. However, the way to earn that money is not clear to them, and that thought process kind of flow into the children of the current generation maybe, and that is where I have seen people are very confused about why they are doing actually. So until unless this question, the answer for this question is not clear, you should not be moving into actually. Right? So you need to be very clear why you are doing actually, because if you're not clear, it's very time consuming, it's tough, and then eventually any rational person would give up saying that you are not getting job after clearing 3 or 4 papers. You are going for the interview, you are not being asked the questions that are given in the book. You were probably asked question from a different paper than you have passed. And we're seeing all of this because life is not ideal, right? Life is difficult, life is unfair, and when you face with that sort of challenge, and you are working hard because you are kind of clearing the paper, eventually you will feel that yeah, this is worthless, and I'm not uh, getting anywhere with this, right? So why should I do actually? So if you are not clear about the reason for doing actually, then actually is not for you. So be very clear why you are doing actually and ask yourself that question. Do not repeat what your mom has had said, or dad has said, or your friend had kind of had in mind while doing actually. You need to come up with a thorough answer for yourself. And if that answer is no, I don't like actually, then do not do actually. Actually is not the best thing in the world. You can do something else, and you can be much more maybe uh, better than a normal actually, right? So just choose the field which you like and which you feel that you can work hard, right? Which would not be a kind of a profession for you, which would be something that you love, and then you would not be working, like they say. Then you are not working. Then you are just enjoying the process, right? So that is the field you should be choosing for yourself, right? And if actually is not that field, do not enter actually. Moving on. So who can be an actuary, right? Who can be an actuary? As per me, I'll say anyone can be an actuary. Anyone can be an actuary. Those who are willing to work on their limitations. Now, I know a person when I was working in AIG, there was a person from whom I have kind of all the facets that I know in life. Actually, she was the person who kind of mentioned that to me. But when the things get tough, right, when the going gets tough, she gave up on those same principles and she kind of changed. But I am following those principles because I believe in those principles, right? So one of the limitation that I faced with her is she was unable to take any feedback, and that is something that is very very important. So if you are a person who is willing to receive feedback, who does not take feedback as an insult, then you can do anything in this world. And if you are passionate about something, then no one can stop you from doing that, right? So anyone can become an actuary. It does not require maybe for the lack of better word, too much hardship to be an actuary. It just need consistent work, and there would be areas where you would not be good, right? And there will be areas where you'll be very good in actually. So the areas that you are not good, you have to kind of accept that. You cannot reject that. Yeah, I have been a maybe I have scored the or secured the first position all the time, but this time I am facing some difficulty. So it's not the case. I am not facing any difficulty. You cannot reject it like that. You have to kind of give yourself the chance or the opportunity to be wrong, and then you have to kind of work on those limitations. If you can do that, you can you can be an actuary. Anyone can be an actuary, no matter whether you are maths honors, whether you are history honors, whether you are English honors. It does not matter. Like I mentioned, maths is an important skill required for an actuary. But if you do not have the skill right now, but if you're willing to work on it, then eventually you'll get there. Maybe you are better than people who have done maths honors, because I know I have done maths honors. The people who have done maths honors with me, they have forgotten maths completely. So it's just about what you retain and where you see yourself. So if you are willing to accept the feedback, if you are willing to work on yourself, anyone can be an actuary. Right? It's not a what can I say? It's not a rocket science. So these are the things that you can. So this is my website, bluedragonuniverse.in. This is also given in the description. And I believe if you have questions like whether you can be an actuary, so these are a couple of free courses we have: Introduction to Actuary, FAQs of a Fresher. Right, you can see this free course, and you can, if you want to discuss or kind of explain your situation to me, and you want me to give you full undivided attention, you can book a session. This is a paid session, by the way. You will have to pay 500 rupees, and then our team will reach out to you for the timings. If you want to do that, you can also do that. But I believe that whatever is kind of given here, introduction to actuary and FAQs of Fresher, would be sufficient for you. So if you have any doubt, just enroll for these free courses, and this will give you all the details, including the salary, the profiles, right? Everything, every details that you need would be covered in this too. And even after that, if you feel something is left out and there is a special condition that you need to discuss with me, you can go ahead and book session with me. So that's it. This is what this video is all about. And if you have any further question, you are welcome to write in the comment section. And if you are benefited by this video, please hit the like button. And if you are new to my channel, consider subscribing to my channel. This is the sort of video that we bring along with knowledge content. So this is a sort of counseling sort of video, and then we'll also have knowledge contents like we are bringing a course called Sparkle One that will be released in and around maybe mid of October, and that is aimed at bridging the gap between a fresher. Like I mentioned, papers are insufficient, right? So the aim at bridging the gap of a fresher and the real work, right? So those a sample video I'll be releasing maybe this Saturday. Right? So this is what all this channel is all about, right? So I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, see you in future videos.